Now, this is going to seem a little bit random, but I do like certain kinds of music. Among them are rock and metal. Now, this is probably making you all severely wonder what this has to do with blacksmithing in the slightest. Well, I'm about to turn a rock into a metal. Well, more accurately, a metalloid. I'm going to be turning quartz into elemental silicon, because quartz is silicon dioxide, and so is a lot of the sand that exists on the Earth's surface. It's actually kind of interesting. About 25% of the Earth's crust is made up of silicon, which makes it one of the most abundant elements in the Earth's crust, second only to oxygen, really. It makes up about a quarter of it, so it's pretty abundant, so I have really no qualms about reducing it. I'm going to be reducing it with carbon, which I don't think I've really been able to do anything like that before. I tried it with iron once, but didn't really work out too well. But I'm going to try this with silicon. I'm going to do it in a much different way than I tried with the iron. I tried it with the iron using a very traditional method of putting iron ore into a furnace and filling it with coal, and that didn't really work out too well. But I mean, I did produce some steel, so that was pretty nice, and a few drops here and there, and this kind of weird form of it. But anyway, that's steel. We're not focusing on steel right now. We're focusing on silicon. Hello again. I'm back in my home forge, and it is great to be back. Let me tell you, I really miss this place. So, first order of business is to compress, or to decompress, I guess, turn into powder some of the quartz and some of the charcoal that I have to sort of be able to mix it up and get it to reduce properly. This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. Yeah, all the stuff likes to go flying everywhere. And also, I did a little bit of research. I'm not even sure this reduction is going to work with my regular foundry, so I'm hoping for the best, but I'm not too sure it'll work. Well, this is kind of what I've reduced it to. The powder that's over here is probably going to be our best bet. I'm not sure if this stuff over here is going to reduce at all, but the powder might. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to add in some more sand, because sand is pretty much mostly silicon dioxide, especially out here in this area. So I'm going to get some sand and I'm going to throw that in the crucible as well, and we'll just see. I'm going to try and bias it more towards quartz, as we can see here, because that's pretty much pure silicon dioxide. A few inclusions of like iron oxide and such, but yeah, most of this is silicon dioxide, so I'm just going to add that to my regular sand and see where it goes. That is some rather tan looking sand. Doesn't look quite like our white quartz sand, so I am a little bit worried about that, but it could just be an iron oxide coating on a few of these grains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up, try and get all the water out of the sand, and then I will get to work on the charcoal. Alright, so the steam has for the most part come off of that. It is still fairly hot though, so I'm not really touching it yet. Remains unchanged, but you can definitely see there's a difference in the color from what it was before, and also there's still a difference of color with this. I'm thinking probably because the oxidation state of the iron probably changed a little bit, or at least the heat affected it somehow. Let me just take a moment to say that I'm really glad that I haven't had any run-ins with the DEA, otherwise this garage would look very suspicious right now. Okay, so that took a couple centuries longer than I thought it would, but now I have some charcoal and some sand. I'm going to mix it up as evenly as I can. I tried to shoot for a 2-to-1 ratio as far as carbon to silicon dioxide, but we'll see how that goes. As you can see, the charcoal was not ground up very well. I'm hoping that the finely ground stuff, though, gets mixed in decently well. There's some really finely ground stuff. It's actually more finely ground than the sand itself, so hopefully that works out. But we will see. Alright, into the furnace we go. And because this puts out some carbon monoxide gas, I'm going to go ahead and open up the garage. Now it's time for my favorite part. Woo! Yeah, so that was a little bit of an issue. Realistically though, I'm fine, it wiped right off. I mean, I needed a haircut anyway, so... Okay, so I pretty much have both regulators all the way up. Oh, I can actually go higher on this one. So as you can hear, it is roaring loudly. I've got the air intake all the way up, so we're gonna see how that goes. I layered some carbon on the top of it also, just to prevent any sort of oxygen getting back in there and reoxidizing the silicon should it deoxidize. Be level with y'all though. Furnace, I've noticed a few pops coming out of it. I'm not too comfortable with that. And as I said before, I'm pretty sure this isn't gonna work, but just in case it does, I will get prepared. Alright y'all, now that everything is all set up, figured I should share with you another one of my real misgivings. And that is that the crucible that I'm using is partially made of silicon dioxide, that is silica, partially made of carbon in the form of graphite, partially made of silicon carbide, which is a byproduct of silicon reduction sometimes. I'm a little bit concerned because those are the reactants that I'm using in this experiment. Now there's also some alumina in that, but there's also some alumina in that sand that I'm using, which means that, well, it might be enough to dissolve the crucible, or maybe the crucible's made out of something else too, and I just don't know what it is. But we'll see. I mean, silicon carbide has a pretty high melting temperature, so maybe that's stabilizing it all. But we'll see. Hopefully it actually works. You know, I realized something else. I never properly took the time to figure out how long this took, so I'm just kind of guessing right now. I'm really hoping it's nearing an end. It's been a while, so I'll be running out of propane. Well, this is a little bit discouraging. I don't think I've made anything other than a mess. Which, you know, I might have reduced something, but if I've reduced anything, it's probably the charcoal, to be honest. And that didn't get reduced at all. So, yeah. I'm not thinking that this worked, but we'll see. So, once more, the quest to make metal from something that wouldn't usually be metal has eluded me. Now, that doesn't mean I'm giving up. You know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again, but with an electric furnace, because that's what the pros recommend. Well, actually, I'd paraphrase a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna eventually probably retry this, but with an electric furnace. I decided to dump some iron powder in there just in case I decided to do something premature and reduce some iron. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to want to try this again, but with some sort of electric arc. That's kind of what I saw online when I was looking this up. That's what everybody was using, but I was thinking, what if I could use propane? It doesn't look like it. But, we'll see. We'll try it again, but it'll have to be at a later date because I haven't set that up yet. With that, I don't really have much else for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you all have a wonderful day.